We have just passed through a month-long celebration of black history in this country. There have been so many stories told so well, we sometimes run the risk of thinking we have heard the whole story. Well, there are 3 generations of Oklahoma blacks buried in this cemetery, and their history is unique. Some of them were cowboys, some were Indians, and all of them were pioneers.
Those graves over there are people 100 years old and more that I knew them when they lived.
Charles Davis knew them well.
Still there, that's right.
Most of them he buried.
That's my great-grandmother there. And this was Coutts' home, and he gave everybody that didn't have a milk cow, a cow and a calf. That's right.
This cemetery is Charles Davis's history book. For 96 years, he has passed on its stories to all who would hear.
This was over this road that I saw the first immigrants moving into the Oklahoma Territory. It wasn't Oklahoma then. It was known as the Indian Territory. And this is where I heard the word that they used. We're on our way to the Promised Land.
Most history books say Oklahoma began with a land run, but Charles Davis remembers what came before.
Everybody here was an Indian. Don't care how black he was. The Negro accidentally got into the Indian Territory from the deep south. The white man found a good place to swap a Negro for a horse. The Indian had a whole country of fine horses that the South didn't have.
They would trade a slave for a horse?
That's the way lots of them got here and got free.
For nearly half a century, Oklahoma was primarily a land of the red and the black, a checkerboard where few white men were allowed to play.
He didn't have nobody here to tell him don't do this or that. He found an open space where he was absolutely free.
Indian Territory was one of the few places where blacks could actually own land before the Civil War. They built their own towns, ran their own newspapers, elected their own leaders. They built in Oklahoma what most slaves only dreamed.
I saw that with my natural eye. So you see, the Negro coming up from the South, and I tell him a whole lot of things.
What do your grandchildren think about all this?
Well, some of them don't even stay long enough to learn it.
What is your recipe for a long life?
Yeah, just live, just don't die. Now, I know when these big trees were small saplings.
Charles Davis, a history without pages.
That's a full-grown
History waiting to be asked.
blackjack.
For today,
That's an oak
Bob Dotson,
tree.
NBC News, Haskell, Oklahoma.
This here, that's elm, that's mistletoe.